Hey everybody, Professor Steins here. And a lot of people seem to kind of be having questions about nested menus and drop-down menus and other kinds of menus. So I'm gonna kind of put this video together, kind of do one, and I'm gonna kind of start over fresh because really it does really help to kind of start over fresh, especially when you're kind of making little things. You know, I could kind of keep a file that has the basic structure kind of already written out here, and so I could start fresh. But it's really kind of me warming up my fingers for the most part. And as I kind of start typing some basic structure out, I'm kind of getting my fingers warmed up. So uh, basically, I need to kind of create an unordered list. And in that list, we're going to have list items, and that's with a hyperlink. And I'll just use the hashtag symbol for the location of the hyperlink. I'm just kind of call it page one. Close it up. I make a couple of those, and 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let's come up to the top. Let's go ahead and throw a meta-car set up here too. And call it nested lists. Oop. And let's save this guy just kind of down on the desktop as an HTML file. Index.htm. Let's just kind of take a look at it and see what it looks like. Just kind of a normal nested list. Pull up the validation service and just kind of check it real quick, make sure it is what it is. And I typed that out pretty quick, so I just want to double check it. So it looks good. Basically, to make a nested list, it kind of needs to be included in one of the list items. So say I wanted to have kind of a nested list under page 2. This is where I would kind of come in to make my next list. So this would be 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Notice how this li tag is closing here. These ul tags, these li tags. So a lot of people try to kind of put it this way and just kind of stick them in there like that, and that's not quite right. So also keep in mind in HTML5 that the end tags are optional for li statements. This could cause some unpredictable behavior, especially in different browsers, but most technically you do not have to use the closing LIs. Take them basically all off. Yeah, technically valid in HTML5. It didn't used to be valid in other versions of HTML. Oop, missing one. There we go. This one closes that one. So some browser inconsistencies may apply if they're kind of got somewhat of an older doc type, but in HTML5 those technically are not required. So let's take a look. That's kind of good. Got some basic nested menu here, pretty good. So I'm going to throw a style block up here and just throw a style at it. And there's a lot of talk about menus, and so I'm just going to kind of throw this one out there, and that's let's just start by making all the ULs kind of have a background color, like a gray or something. And then I'm probably going to want to turn the margin and padding of all the guys in the nav section back to kind of a default state. That'll probably help. List items, I probably also want to turn the list style type off. List style type, none. Kind of brings it all back down to one menu, so that's pretty good. Let's see. Kind of want to turn that inner UL off, so I'm going to kind of walk down the structure here using the descendant operator, the greater than sign in CSS. So I'm going to kind of walk down the structure and say the let me type it out and then maybe I'll explain it. Display none. Okay, so I'm in the nav tag, that would be here. If the direct descendant operator is saying for the UL tag that's directly underneath, that's here. For that LI, for those LIs, that's here. If they have, this is kind of looking for a UL inside, so that one should be basically we're to here right now. The other ones do not have this rule, so this rule would not apply. The effect of which is that this guy, the UL, should disappear, and that would be these three links, and they're gone, which is good. Let's see, let's turn it sideways, so that would be nav UL li display inline block. And so we kind of turn it sideways, which is good. After we turn them off, let's write one to turn them back on, and that's when the LI is hovered. Then if the direct the UL underneath it will be a display block. Basically saying that when this LI gets hovered, this UL should show, and that's kind of this LI. That's why this UL is inside of it. When this one gets hovered, this one will show. Let's take a refresh and look. I think I need to save it. So it is showing, it's doing something, which is good. That's not quite where we want it to be. So let's say that this guy is position relative. Oh, hold on. Wait. This one is position relative. And this one is position absolute. And kind of what I'm doing here is that the inner ULs here are going to be positioned absolutely to the UL that's above it. So that's kind of this UL here. The effect of which is that it hopefully, instead of kind of popping out in the page level or whatever, it's going to kind of come out underneath. So that's a little bit better. And then it's just kind of a matter of messing with some other CSS to kind of dress those things up. So you could say something like nav a display block. Give it a maybe like a color of 93. Font weight bold. Let's say that when we hover over it, we're going to turn the background color purple instead. 633393. And the color will be white. Font size went way down, didn't it? I could put some padding and margin back on these guys now that they're display block. Let's go with 1.5 EM. They'll probably be like really big. Padding 4 pixels, 7 pixels. Oh, maybe that won't be too bad. Well, kind of big. I probably need to work on these guys a little bit. And kind of figure out what kind of width I want them to be. That would be this one. And like a min width of 200 pixels or something. It's looking a little bit better. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and take a look at it, see if you can't make it work. It's kind of neat. So, and feel free to kind of experiment with your own version too, kind of change some of the stuff around. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a good one. Bye.